get some good journaling in, really think about your intentions. And I really do encourage you to go back and look at what we read every morning and see, are you doing that? Are you doing those steps, from Think and Grow Rich? I do it at least a couple times a year. As soon as I reach a goal, I put a new goal in there, and those steps I go through are, what am I going to do and who do I have to become? So I really encourage you to not just thank you for being here and going through them with us, but also really putting them into your life. Okay. All right. Today I wanted to talk to you about time. Not just about schedule, but I want to talk to you about time. We all have 24 hours in the day. And have you ever thought about how do some people get more done than I do? It happens. Why does that happen? Why are there some people that are so consistent with their day? They just go from task to task to task. They get things done and they're whizzing by us and we think, why can't I get that done? So the secret is they've mastered their schedule. It's really that simple. Our schedule, if you can think of your schedule as building a house, it's our foundation. It's the foundation of building your business versus building a house, but it is your foundation. It's where it all begins, is your schedule. And so for those of you who, I'm sure everybody has a schedule, most of us have it on our computers, we have it on our phones. And I'm going to test you later on changing that up a little bit today. But I just want to talk about that, about mastering the schedule. If we could look at it, the people that have mastered it, let's put a reality on that. They have learned how to make it their ritual, their routine. It's a commitment. That schedule is something that they do no matter what. It is something that they are committed 100% to accomplishing, that schedule, from the minute they wake up to the minute they go to bed. So what I want to talk to you about is, do you have that schedule? Do you have a schedule that allows you to accomplish the most you can in the time that you have, that we all have? Is it a schedule that's just in your computer and it's arbitrary? Are there some things in your schedule that are important, like morning ascent? Guys, I look at your faces that I see here, or that in your names here on the board, on my gallery view here on Zoom, and you are the people that show up every day for Zoom. It is part of your schedule. It's a ritual. It's a commitment. So I'd ask yourself, why is this a ritual? And maybe something else on your schedule that you have had on your schedule for days, weeks, months, years, maybe that isn't something that you do every day. So why is one thing a ritual or a commitment, and why is one thing not? So really think about that. Look at your schedule, and I really want you to say, okay, for one, do you write it out? Two, is it something that you re-look at every Sunday night? Every night before the next day? Are you looking at your schedule so you know where your time is supposed to be, and decide, are those things important? You might have something on your schedule that isn't very important to you. Okay, so that's something to talk about. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So I really just want to go over some basics. I know I wasn't going to talk about, the schedule in general, but I can't help myself. Let's just talk about the things as Everest agents that we should have on our schedule. So I want everybody to write these down. Role play, morning message, morning ascent. Good morning, everybody. You're here. Prospecting, lead follow-up, administration, presenting, whether it's for a seller or a buyer, whether you're presenting for getting the listing, presenting for an offer, whether you're presenting to a new buyer. So presentation. And then I want you in big, bold letters, the last one, I want you to write in capital letters, end day. End the day. We are going to talk about that today. It's as important as role play. It's as important as all the other things. So we're going to talk about that. Now, talked, many times, whether it's George, John, Lindsay, we've talked about what the perfect schedule is. I'm not going to go over what a perfect schedule is because you should have that. You should know what it is. It's in things that we've talked about before. So what I want to do is I want to have you think about what is your perfect schedule? Is it watching Morning Ascent from home so that you can do it and be sitting down and writing and then getting into the office? Or do you need to switch something so you can get into the office and watch Morning Ascent? That's going to be up to you. And it's going to be up to not just what feels good, but what will actually make you do it. So for example, I just started, well, it's been a while, it's been a few months, I hired a health coach. And part of the thing I had to do with her is commit to doing exercise. Well, me, I'm sometimes a 0 to 100. So I told her, I'm going to work out. I'm going to do an hour, hour and a half. I'm going to walk this many minutes. I'm going to work this much on my Bowflex. I'm going to do all these things. And she looked at me and it was like my own words coming out at me. Like I talked to my coaching client. She said, but are you really going to go from 0 to an hour and a half? And I'm like, I don't know, probably not, because that's where I always stop. Whenever I've started a workout regimen, I always go to hour, hour and a half, and I don't last. So she said, just give me 30 minutes. Give me 30 minutes. That will be perfect for you. So guys, when you think about your schedule and you think about what's perfect, what is perfect for your lifestyle? What is perfect for what you're going to be able to grow into? No, if you're the type of person that goes 0 to 100 and it works, go to 100. I'm not that person. And luckily, Mindy, my health coach, uses the same words I use when I coach my real estate coaching clients. It's interesting how a coach needs to be coached. Guys, it is amazing how it falls in everyone's life. Okay. So please, I hope you take this and know that you are not alone. Following schedules, taking care of your time is difficult. Okay. So I want you to look at what is your perfect schedule. I'm going to give you another example. I have a gal in my schedule that every week she was short about maybe 30, 40 contacts a week. And I was like, what is going on? So I had her do, and we're going to talk about this in a minute. I had her do a time in motion study. That's what I call it. It could be called something else. Time in motion study. So it's where I had her keep track of what she did every 30 minutes, every single day. She would text me or email me that sheet so I could see what she was doing every day. Part of it was for accountability, but part of it is for finding out patterns. So she would send me her time and motion study every single day. And all of a sudden I realized that on Tuesdays and Thursdays, she didn't tell me that she had a medical appointment that she had to go to. It was the only time she could go. And she was there till 11 o'clock. Well, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, that's where we were missing those 30, 40 contacts. So when I got on the phone with her the next week for her coaching, I said, Molly, why did you never tell me that you had this appointment on Tuesdays and Thursdays? And she's like, I just didn't think about it. I said, well, so let's think. And so I backtracked with her about her contacts. Okay, so you do 20 contacts clearly Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but Tuesday, Thursday, obviously you're not doing it because you get in late. So we were able to make her a new plan. Sure, it's great to do things the same every single day. It wasn't happening for Molly. At 11 o'clock, she just wasn't getting on the phone like she should. So what we started to do is she did 30, 30, and 30, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and she only had to do 5 on Tuesday and Thursday. She hit her 100 contacts. I think that's the math. But what it did is it made us realize, okay, so her perfect schedule isn't going to be perfect or isn't going to be the same every day. Tuesdays and Thursdays had to be different to be perfect. And so she had this newfound thought about her schedule that on Monday she was going to hit 30 hard because she knew tomorrow she only had to do 5. Then on Wednesday and same. So it just really, I want you to be okay with being different than the person next to you in the office. Now, again, remember I said I don't want this to make it so it feels good. You should be pushing yourself. But if you're one of those people that, like here in Utah, kids are still going to school, I believe. If you have to drive your kids to school or whatever is going on, you may not be able to get to the office at 7 o'clock to do the role play like somebody else because you have your children. It's going to happen. It's okay. What is your perfect schedule? Okay. So what I'd like you to do now is I'm going to talk to you about two things. So one is that I'd like you to, for the next week, entertain me. Just give me a shot and entertain me. I want you to go on your computer and I want you to see what you've written as your schedule. Then I want you to get out. Guys, I still use At a Glance. I have everything on my computer. That's where my main schedule is. But every evening I go in and I still mark everything I'm going to do. I section it out. If there are any holes, I make sure that there's something in there that I'm going to do. If I have 30 minutes, can I go for a walk? If I have 30 minutes, do I have to work on some administration? If I have 30 minutes, should I be following up with somebody? Fill the holes. You can see my holes are filled. And I love to cross things off that I got things done. So you can see all the way through my week. So what I'd like you to do, you don't have to go get an at-a-glance calendar if you don't want to, but I want you to get a blank 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. schedule, however it may look. Just print something out of Outlook, but have it be blank. And I want you for the next week, I want you to write out your schedule. I want you to write it out. Look at your computer on tonight. So tonight on Thursday, I want you to write tomorrow's schedule out. And then tomorrow, I want you to take your paper and I want you to work off the paper versus your computer. Let's go old fashioned here. Okay. So I want you to do that, write it out. And what I want you to do, if you don't have it, I want you to go shopping today. I want you to get a green pen. And everything that you are supposed to do gets written in red. Okay, so if you wake up at 6 o'clock, it's green. Because what I want you to think about, green is money. So everything that's in your schedule should be something that is leading you to your business, to your money. Okay, so do it in green. Again, I told you, entertain me. I know this is a little weird, but entertain me. Then what I want you to do, so you're going to write that out tonight. You're going to write out your schedule for tomorrow on a piece of paper. I don't care if it's just a piece of paper. I'd like to see it where it's in lines and give yourself enough room. Then tomorrow, when you start doing your day, I want you to get out a red pen. And I want you, if you got up at 6:15 instead of 6 o'clock, I want you to write in that square or rectangle, I want you to write, got up at 6:15 in red. 8 o'clock is morning ascent, but you came in at 8:15 after affirmations. I want you to write, got there at 8:15. If you did it, keep it green. That means you did it. Perfect. Okay. I want you to do this every evening. I want you to do it Thursday night, obviously Friday night, where if you're working on Saturday, but then on Sunday night, you do Monday night, you do Tuesday, and so on. Handwrite it in red, in green. And then the next day, keep that schedule with you everywhere you go. I actually got a smaller at a glance this year so I could put it in my purse. That way I have this everywhere I go. Because we all fall in the trap when there's holes, we lose our mind. Let's just face it. Okay. The thing I always tell my coaching clients is restriction is freedom. The more I can restrict myself during the day, the more freedom I have in the evenings with my family. The more restrictive I am during the day, the more freedom I have with my business. It works out every single time. So I want you to be going from thing to thing to thing. And that doesn't mean you don't take a break, but plan it. It's in your plan. So if you're going to take lunch, put it in green. It's still something that makes you the person you need to be to have the foundation for your business. Okay. So First thing is I want you to go ahead, write out your schedule every night. The next day you use that sheet and you are going to then put in red anything that you didn't do. Then I invite you, either pair up with each other, talk to your broker manager. If you're in coaching, talk to your coach. And I want you to share this information. Like I tell clients when I do this, yes, it's for accountability. There is no doubt. There is accountability in this. But what really comes of it, like I talked to you about Molly, is it shows us our patterns. I've seen patterns that aren't as conditional as Molly's was. So in a lot of times when I get these, I'll notice that at, say, 10 o'clock, people start to, let's say they start prospecting at 9, and at 10, 10:30 or 11 o'clock, they start to get a little more red on their sheet. So I realized that I asked them, so what have you done from the start of your prospecting to 10:30 or 11? Nothing. They'll say, nothing, I prospected. Well, let's take a mindset break. Because what happens is they've now gone an hour and a half of calling and they're tired, they're frustrated, they're whatever it might be. So what I do with them is say, okay, from now on, 9 to 10 o'clock, you make your calls, take a 5-minute mindset break, get back on the phone. And all of a sudden you can see their patterns start to change. Okay. So please know that this is more about, or it's absolutely nothing about judgment, for sure. It's about some accountability, but it's also about finding out what is working in your schedule and what isn't working in your schedule. Then you need to evaluate, why isn't it working? Is it just because you're being lazy? Is it because you don't understand as well as you should what's in your schedule? Is it that you've put it in the wrong place? Okay. And as much as we want every day to look the same, it may not. And that should be okay. And so I'm giving you permission now, if you've been one of those people that thinks you have to be so regimented, because some agents can be. Let's face it, that is, that is their thing, and they're going to be the same every single day. Some of us, especially with kids, with other things we have going on, maybe it could be a family issue, a health issue, things are going to change. We don't want you to feel like if you can't do everything, that you do nothing. And that's the worst thing you can do. So I want, by a show of hands, I'm going to go I'm going to open up the chat. Oh, somebody asked me to give a perfect schedule. So I will tell you guys the perfect schedule in a minute, since it's been asked. But what I'd like everybody here in the chat, who is willing to entertain me this week? Who will go ahead and write out their schedule by hand in green, if you can. If it's not green, that's fine. But it's just a good visual. So who here in the chat? Okay, so Becky, Lacey D, who else? Come on, you guys. I need some entertainment this week. Okay, and if you want, I will put, in fact, I'm going to put my, I'll put my email address in here. If you guys want to send it to me, you can send it to me and I'll call you. I don't know if I can spell while I talk. Once I turned 50, it was hard for me to do two things at one time. Okay, so there's my, see, we're just all normal. It's just how it goes, guys. Don't make this be something that is so, you have to be so perfect, okay? So thank you. Thank you for those. I didn't get as many as I would like. We have over 50 people on the call. So I'm hoping everybody's maybe driving, maybe you're driving and you can't commit on paper, so to speak. So please, I encourage you to write out this schedule for each day and then do your time and motion study. Share it with a neighbor in the office, share it with your broker manager, share it with me, share it with whatever you need, guys. We are here. We are in the best company. We are in the best company of the best people. So please help each other out, because we don't always see what we should see about ourselves, and we need others to do the looking in, just like my health coach. I mean, she is looking at things about me that I just cringe about. Okay. But that uncomfortableness is helping me to get to where I want to be for my life. Okay. All right. So Julie asked, what is a perfect schedule? Okay. So I'm going to give you a perfect schedule as far as our Everest company. And so that way, if this is something you can work out, then this will be what will be perfect for you. If not, take this and see where you can do some adjusting. Okay. So perfect schedule could be is 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. We have role play. Rick and Ruby do a great job every morning. If you want to be included in that, again, I've given you my email address. You guys probably have Rick and Ruby's. Send them an email that you'd like to be included in the role play between 7 and 8. They're there. It's done. You can come to Union Park. I'm not sure, Rick, how many people can we have in Union Park? 5, 10. Okay. We can have 10 people in the training room, and then they do it by Zoom, and it's very effective. So perfect schedule, 7 to 8 role play. 8 o'clock to 8:45, morning ascent. You guys already have that in your schedule. We're giving you 15 minutes, right, to wrap up, kind of look at your notes. From 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock, prospect. 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock, have lunch. 1 o'clock to 2:30, you should have lead follow-up, admin, or prepping for appointments. That's your work time right there. So lead follow-up, admin, or prep for appointments. And then have a scheduled time of 3 and 5 o'clock for appointments. If you don't have appointments, do more prospecting and maybe some admin. And then 2 times a week, 1 to 2 times a week, have a later appointment, say at 7 o'clock, because there are going to be some people that just can't meet with you at 3 or 5. Okay. So very simple schedule. Now, the one thing that I told you we would talk about that was most important, I want you to rewrite it in bold letters. End day, end of day. So this is a funny one. When I coach people and I ask them, when do they end their day? I get answers like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Some people say 10 o'clock. So the people that tell me 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, my question is, okay, so if I'm your client and your end of the day is 6 o'clock, but I call you at 6:30, do you answer your phone? If the answer is yes, the end of your day is not 6 o'clock. If the end of your day is 7 o'clock and I'm your client and I call you at 7:15 and you answer, the end of your day is not 7 o'clock. You guys have to understand that the start of your day or the end of your day is absolutely 100% as important as the start of your day. If you are working 24/7, you're doing it wrong, guys. And I know we want to be there for our clients. And there may be an exception. We have a deal closing tomorrow, or we have an offer and there's something that's going to happen tonight. Make that the exception. So one of the things I have my clients do is I have them fill out a very simple schedule that they can put into their listing packet, start day, and keep it simple. That you get to the office, they don't have to know you do role play and morning ascent, but get to the office, prospect to find buyers and sellers between 9 and noon. You can tell them you have lunch. From 1 to 3, you do admin, it's fine. And then from 3 and 5 o'clock, you have appointments. And then end of day, what is your end of day? So when you're with them, you can show them your schedule and say, now between 9 and noon, this is when I'm working the hardest for you. So know that my promise is I will not answer my phone at that time. If I do, I used to tell people, test me. If I answer my phone between 9 and noon, that means I'm not doing my job. You can fire me. Test me. Okay. I would go through the schedule, let them know what I'm doing. And then I would say, no, I just need to let you know that I end my day at 7 o'clock. You can call me up to 7 and I'll answer. After 7 o'clock, call me, leave me a message, and I'll call you the next business day. And I would get kind of the side eye sometimes. And I would say, can I explain? And they would say yes. And they would say, I have found that if I work through the evening, I interrupt my family, I get to bed later, what happens is tomorrow, I am not working at the level that I told you I would work. So not only is that stopping at 7 o'clock important to me and my family, but it's important to you and how I work for you the next business day. Guys, they will follow you if they understand why you have something in your schedule. And you have to say it with conviction. Because let's face it, if we're working through the night and we've missed things with our family, that's why we don't do things that are in our schedule the next day. Okay? So it's all a tie-in of what is your perfect schedule? What are you going to do to make sure that your foundation is solid? Now, there might be a couple bumps and you have to put a little crack repair in there. And that's what adjusting your schedule is. And I really want you to evaluate this. Don't judge yourself, but evaluate it. Evaluate what you think is important because somebody else is doing it. Is it really important to you? Maybe not. Maybe it doesn't happen at the same time as somebody else. You just have to do that for yourself. Okay? Any questions about what I've gone over today? I'm just wait a minute in the chat section. Okay. Lillian Lobos. So Lillian or Dylan, can you get Lillian? So I think she has a question, or Lillian probably said that because she was going to do the homework. Okay. All right. So great. So what I would like is first to thank you all for being here today. And I am going to preemptively say thank you for entertaining me this week. Entertaining that I am looking for you guys to do this exercise. Get out of the norm of having things on your computer. Write it out the old-fashioned way. Really evaluate, is it working for you? Where are your holes? Restrict yourself so at 6 o'clock, at 7 o'clock, you have freedom for your family and you have freedom so the next day you wake up and you are powerful. You are the powerful agent that you are and you're supposed to be. All right? So again, thank you guys. Thank you so much for attending and participating. And I will now do affirmations.